Hi guys, welcome back to day 22 of my December daily. Today I am going to be working with these two photos, one of my daughter with this little stuffed animal and the letter she received from Santa, and then this is just a picture of a card and some candy that my manager had given me at work, so I wanted to make sure I included those. So I am using this little deer paper because I thought it was really cute, and because she had a reindeer in her hands, I thought it worked perfectly together. It was a smaller scrap, but I made it work just by connecting the end of the 1 3x4 picture to the end of the paper, so it works perfectly like that. So now I'm just going to trim it off just to make sure it looks a little bit better, and then that card should be good to get started. I'm not going to do a whole lot of embellishing on this. I am going to be using some of the Ali Edwards tags that had the numbers on them, so you'll see me doing something with that here in a minute. So I'm just adhering that down. I wanted to use this frame. I had several of these in my collection from last year, and I wanted to get them used, and I thought this color worked well with this layout. So of course I wanted to tuck that a bit under this, so of course I glued it down and didn't think about that first. So I'll work with that. That's no big deal. So I want to trim this piece of acetate so that it fits behind the back of the frame, and it just kind of covers up a little bit of the reindeer just so they're not quite as distracting. I'm going to put the numbers on top of this here in a second. So I'm just trimming that out, and then I just think that makes a little nice accent piece, and it gets some gold into the layout. So now I'm going to end up gluing everything back down. I will end up putting a little bit of foam behind my picture to compensate for the depth of that frame, but for now I'm just going to be gluing it down in place just so it sits there, and then I'll do that putting the foam on off camera. So now I'd adhered it. I like how that looks. I wanted to tuck just slightly, and I'm just going to use that bottom card to make sure I have the right dimension, and there you go. I have that foam on there now, and now it lays a lot flatter. So now I'm going to try to figure out what I want to do with these numbers. I decided to use this tag. I was trying to minimize the amount of bulk that was in the album, so I'm going to cut these out. I was thinking about possibly putting the pins here too, so I'm going to audition both, trying to figure out what I want to do, and ultimately I just really like how the numbers look better. I was a bit worried about fussy cutting those curvy shapes, but in the end I really like how that looks better than the badge. And I do put it back and forth several times just because I just couldn't decide. I just wasn't sure. But like I said, I ultimately picked the 22 that is cut out of the paper. And then I'm going to think about putting the Santa. It just doesn't go. I don't know. I really like these embellishments, but I just couldn't get them to work. So I'm going to pull out these Martha Stewart doily stickers. They're clear stickers. I've had them in my stash forever. I'm sure I've got them at Michael's on clearance or something like that. And I'm going to add 3 to the page. I think they remind me of snowflakes a bit. I know they are doilies and they're not quite snowflakes, but that's just kind of what they look like a snowflake up close. So I thought these would be good on this page, and I like the contrast of the black and white on the page. So I decided to do that. I'm also going to get some mist out here in a little bit, and I'm going to do some misting in the background with some white Dylusions ink, and it's going to give a really nice contrast too, and just remind me of snow. It didn't really do any snowing at all in December, but I wanted to kind of give that illusion, and that is why I decided to do this. So I think this ink is probably one of the better white inks I've ever seen, so I am going to put this on here. I think it gives the most opaqueness next to watering down acrylic white paint. So if you had to, or you were looking for a white splatter, I would highly recommend this one. It does take quite a bit time to dry, but once it does, it is very pretty, and I really like the look of it. So I'm just wiping off some of the doilies because there was some mist on there, and I knew it wouldn't dry by sitting on there, so I'm just taking a little bit of a baby wipe and just sopping that up. And then I'm going to show you that close-up real quick. And then I'm going to work on that top card, getting that number 22 glued down, and I'm going to pop it up a little bit on foam and put it right there on the edge. And that's pretty much the last thing I think I do on this layout. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you had a great Christmas and a happy New Year. I have a couple more of these videos in this series, day 23 and 24 and 25, so they will be up in the next couple of days. And basically what I'm doing here last is just putting a little bit of a white outline with my Jelly Roll pen. Thank you guys so much. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the video description comment section below. I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye, have a great day.